BLG could finally have some wind under their wings as they take Game 1 against TOP, a team that has struggled in the spring split, but now could be finding some momentum here in the summer. The question is, will BLG be siphoning that momentum away from them after that Game 1 win?
Yeah, definitely. It could be a possibility right here. I think TOP came in looking a little bit rough. Nothing really went to script. You win the early game, you win it super hard, and then your mid lane ints and you lose a dragon fight, and the game looks kind of different from there on out. So it was definitely a messy game, but I still think the ideas presented by TOP were definitely solid.
And even running the AD carry, the Lucian Gragas in the bottom lane?
No, I don't like the Lucian. Like, I've said it over and over again. You just... Like, if you're a bottom-tier team, if you're not the gang of 4, then you don't play a marksman. Like, he's 1 and 6 so far on the Lucian for Chocho. Just don't do it. Like, play a bruiser. You're much better early on.
Again, though, for those of you who are keeping track, we do have to mention that right now the LCK, we have Griffin versus Genji going to Game 3 on the LCK stream, so that could be a lot of fun. Of course, I would recommend just popping over a multi-stream. Make sure you've got both monitors set up with both games so you can keep track of what's going on in the best region in the world and the LCK.
Hey, man, if you're already watching TOP versus BLG
We're probably also watching the LCK.
Yeah, you're definitely very invested.
We got to be completely honest.
You definitely have both streams open at the same time, and you want to know what's going to happen between these two teams.
Absolutely.
I want to know.
I want to know as well. Hey, maybe we could get some crazy meta developments. 813B, you know, we've got the Aatrox buffs. We've got the Stormrazor buff that actually got played in the last game from Gangplank. Amazing J, getting the massive true damage crits.
Yeah, that 20% extra move speed, which was the buff to Stormrazor, really showing up right there. And talking about that full build, you could actually sell your boots at that point and get the 30% crit from an item like the Phantom Dancer. And then you would have 100% crit from the Stormrazors, not the Gimp 60% crit. And you would also move faster and have more crits as well. And do
more damage.
So it's really a win-win.
Hey!
Oh, someone left a browser up.
You can see the ban phase on the bottom of the screen down there, too. We'll get that fixed in no time as we get into
he was trying to open Genji versus Griffin.
That's what he was listening to us. He was trying to check in, like, how's the other stream going? Just peeking in, like Papa Smithy just popping up and saying, hello. How are things going? So, okay, we assume they're going through pick and ban right now. We'll have to catch up. We'll have to play catch up with this pick and ban. Let's run through our own pick and ban in the meanwhile. To try to figure out what that's going to be. So I think that I am TOP. It's actually BLG have side selection on this. Judging by the colors, it's TOP. Seem to be on blue side this time.
Yeah, it's really hard to tell just watching these cams. Sometimes they do get it mixed up.
There we go.
But for TOP, the big things that I'm looking for, and I have looked for so far, is the strong jungler, is the strong mid laner. That's what the bread and butter for TOP early games have been. They've been going all in on the Zoe, on Aurelion Sol. They've been first picking for Graves and for Nocturne. Just really strong things that they can dictate the early jungle pathing of both sides. So I don't think that strategy is going to change, but where I will change is try to move away from Lucian. Like, Lucian's just not a good pick. It hasn't worked for you guys. Play the Swain, play the Vladimir, play the Morgana.
Well, we do see a Darius ban and the Aatrox taken away from Lies on the other side. That has been his winningest champion so far. But that means TOP will get the chance to first pick themselves a Tom Kench. And with Gangplank banned away, we could see BLG again prioritize the top lane for Amazing J. They decide not to look for something else. Because again, that Swain is banned away, that Zoe is banned away. So it looks like we're going to see a bit of a different strategy out of TOP this time around.
Yep, and I'm wondering if he's going to just lock in this Muno. There's nothing that really counters the Muno left up anymore. Darius is banned away. Yeah, I've seen a Kled from time to time, but... Oh, the instant lock-in from Mole. Now,
look at that.
I will say, this hasn't been a champion that we've seen in the LPL, but we have seen people ban it against Mole, especially in spring. So he's definitely known for this champion. People understand that it is he is a bit of a Talon main right here. Oh, I'm really glad that we finally get to see it.
Yeah, certainly going to be quite exciting in that mid lane. Korn will have to deal with that. We know there are a couple of good champions that can handle it, as TOP, seeing the Talon, lock in an AD carry, a low mobility AD carry at that. So perhaps this is a confidence call from TOP. They think that Korn can keep Mole busy in the mid lane as he looks at Aurelia as a potential answer.
Yep, the Aurelia definitely has the dueling potential to go up against the Talon. If you pair it with another form of CC, I think you could neuter the Talon quite hard. I do think BLG is going to have to ban away the Camille unless they pick it themselves. Camille Aurelia is just, it's just too hard to deal with.
That's a lot of red.
No,
the Skarner, he's being looked at, and the comfort pick for Chieftain. All right, Talon, Skarner.
And I think, like, Chieftain just picks crustaceans. Like, he only picks crustaceans. Yeah, he's only going for the Rek'Sai and the Skarner.
Yeah.
The two Void champions. Yeah. And I just don't like these champions. They're not very good early game. They leave you open to so many weaknesses. And just like I said, they do have to take away the Camille.
Yeah.
XX not happy about that. It's like, why are you taking that away from me, man?
Just try to put him on something that can have a little less impact, as Morgana falls all the way down to the second ban phase for TOP. And now BLG get the chance to pair away XX and Lies' champion pool just a little bit more. Again, the double ban towards top lane already. Let's see what other jungler they decide to strike away. Nocturne is still open.
Yeah, but Nocturne's a bit later into the game, and you can always ult before the Paranoia lands. So very difficult for the Nocturne to deal with him. I think the Talia is probably a better answer here. We have seen XX be one of the few junglers that are actually good on the Talia pick so far. A lot of people have been trying it, but very few have actually found success. Does not win the duels most of the time.
So now we've got Vladimir and Swain banned away. So looks like Jin Zhao, is he going to take the marksman in the bottom lane? Taking the Kog'Maw against TOP. Will we see BLG playing a double AD carry style, or even the Ezreal something a bit more safe, because he knows he's up against that Varus Tom Kench?
Yeah, there's no way he picks up something like the Lucian. It's way too easy to get poked out. Same goes with the Kog'Maw as well. Ezreal is a safe option. BLG are trying to make this all about mid and jungle. But again, the Skarner is just not the pick you want to run if you're going all in on mid and jungle. There's a lot of champions that actually just win out. I think Trundle would be a great pick here. Press the attack versus the Predator is such a good rune matchup for him. Gragas could work as an extra form of CC, just trying to force the cleanse from Talon.
It is that Gragas instead locked in. We'll see if it goes to XX or Lies. They'll have to show us within the next 20-some-odd seconds as
it is the Kled top counter.
Oh boy.
Okay.
Well, take it away. Tell me what we're looking at with that Kled.
All right, so I talked about this at the top of draft, that we have seen Kled being run as a counter against the Mundo. We have seen Gimgoon do it, and it's been popping off in the LCK as well. But level 3, level 4, you actually have very high kill threat onto the Mundo. Not much the Mundo can do to really get away from you. The Joust, the double proc, and of course the bear trap on a rope. I'm a Kled main, and that's really difficult to say. It's always very difficult for the Mundo to survive all of that. That being said, I think TOP have themselves a very strong tempo type of composition. If they can run the early game from start to finish, they will abuse leads. There's a lot of hard crowd control. There's a lot of engage potential here.
I mean, we saw the same exact thing from TOP in the previous game. They were able to open up an early advantage during the laning phase, even controlling the neutral objectives with early Dragons, turrets, and the Rift Herald, but they could not transition it into a mid-game, let alone a late game. Now this time, they're up against a Talon Mundo Ezreal, who looks to be putting a damper on that.
Yeah, for BLG, I think this is quite comfortable for them as well. They do have the late game answers of Mundo and the Ezreal. So they're looking to scale up a bit harder, go for that 30-minute maybe. Well, on the other side, I think TOP is going all in early. I like this TOP. Like, I really think that TOP in the spring split only had one trick up their sleeves, and that was the 20-minute Baron.
Yeah.
But now with XX showing up and asserting his dominance all over the map early on, they have opened up themselves to go for harder compositions.
And it has paired so well with Goong in the mid lane to enable XX to be that aggressive early on. This time around, we're seeing him on that Gragas in the jungle with Aurelia in the mid lane to try and keep track of that talent. There could be a bit of spiciness. If Korn ever lets that wave get away from him, then we could very well see Mole start to sneak around on that talent, try to chase XX down, because Gragas, he does good damage, but once Burst is out of the way, he cannot match a talent.
It's Sure, I think the Talon, if fed, is very dangerous, but early on, I don't think the Talon's actually going to be doing much.
Okay.
What you want to do with the Talon and the Smite is you want to hit level 2 and then walk to lane. Make sure you have an advantage going in with the wave push. And I think the level 1 is going to be very interesting from both teams. We do see the Tom Kench and Gragas with the potential stun coming out. So I do expect one of those Raptor camps to be heavily contested.
Well, we'll see which one it's going to be as we load onto the Rift here. Bilibili Gaming versus TOP. Game 2 and our first best of 3 coming back from Rift Rivals is now upon us. Let's hear it from the fans as they cheer on their teams.
I'm pretty sure BLG got 2 chants right there. Well, I didn't hear one from TOP.
I thought the TOP one was the first one.
Oh, really?
And then BLG the second. So Mole right here, like you said, he is going to be starting off on that Raptor camp. Looks like we're not going to get any contests or invades on it. You'll notice that Mole is starting with that Smite so that he can clear out that camp super quickly, rush level 2, and then go into the mid lane. Let's see if he goes for a full camp clear.
Yep, he does have the seal for it as well. He's probably going to try to hit level 2 before he goes to the lane, but what I'm worried about is how he actually plays the lane, because if he pushes it hard, then the Gragas with the level 2 and red buff should be able to force the flash out of him quite early on.
And look at that, right into lane. Korn, he's got 4 minions and he's not got that CS lead. Yeah, Mole just sitting on top of the minions. You want to come forward and get some gold, you're going to have to do it through the Talon.
Yeah, look at that pings coming out from Mole. They already know the potential level 2 gank path from the Gragas, and he's already pinging for Chieftain to help him ward that place up. Or he does spot it.
Yeah, you can see the question mark ping placed on top of him. If Chieftain is taking his blue buff, looks like Scuttle is the target for XX. Directly under the vision. Will he step up and try to fight that Skarner? Decides not to. And Chieftain's still even holding on to his Smite right now. This level 3 is picked up in Mole, just getting as many CS under the turret as he can. Korn down in experience is going to have a tough time here.
Yep, this is a pretty good outplay from Mole, actually. Early on, he doesn't push, avoids the level 2 gank from Gragas, and also forces Aurelia, who is under-leveled, to contest him. So,
always a happy thing for a Talon. If you can get people to hop into you, then saves the time of using Noxian Diplomacy to close distance, and instead in melee range just getting that full crit damage as Mole tries to trade with Korn. He's pushing the wave in with the Rake right now. XX is level 3 and just outside of vision. Blade Surge, sidestepped.
Yep, that was pretty dangerous there, but I do think that Mole did spot him. The ward just disappeared on the map for BLG on the Raptor ramp, so it was spotted out. Gragas probably was not going to get anything there anyway.
But already we can see that Talon start to roam. You can see the pings on top of that Spire, the Crystal Spire.
Ooh, he could avoid this.
Let's see if he decides to route over it and go bottom. Even the Mia pings on that bottom lane as Jin Zhao and Road force Cat and Jojo away from those minions. And BLG, they're just taking it slow in this early game, using that Talon mid advantage to try and open up some more options elsewhere on the map as Chieftain walks forward just to help Amazing J push.
Yep, as the Talon, you're definitely looking to use that Assassin's Path into the bot lane, but Amazing J right here, I think he's going down.
He's so low, flashes back, but dies.
That's the level 4 I was talking about.
Lies, solo kill, first blood.
People just never appreciate the damage coming out from a Kled. Like, they just forget about how obnoxious you really are and how far Joust can chase you. Because if you get tagged by the first Joust, you can always follow up. It doesn't matter if you flash or not.
With 2 smites, BLG are unable to protect their Raptor camp. Amazing J actually teleporting back top, Lies matching it. And despite the defensive stats of that Mundo, that lane is going to be a little bit more scary now as look who's coming top. XX sitting in that tri-bush.
Yep, and he really wasn't spotted so far. I think Amazing J should have an idea where he is, but...
Here we go, over the wall, the body slam, the slow bear trap on the rope, pulls him back in. Violent tendencies and the keg smash. Who's going to get the kill? Will they pass it over to Lies? And oh no! So close. Lies locks it down.
Yeah, he does have to take up the kill there, or else Mundo would be able to walk away. But great execution right there, getting the flash stun just to make sure that Lies could catch up with the EQ combo right there. So, you know, just punishing the matchup as hard as possible. We've seen this being tried a couple times, originally in the LPL. Gimgoon, of course, always the inventor and the one to try new stuff. But recently being popularized in the LCK.
And it could be an opportunity for TOP to try and get back into this series as a Bone Skewer pulls Chocho forward. Quick Devour gets him right back out, though, as Chieftain goes for a deep route behind that Dragon Pit to look for some vision.
I'm actually quite surprised that they decided to ban away the Vlad and the Swain when walking into the Varus lane. Traditionally, those mage champions are not what Jinja is really known for, and Varus still counters Swain pretty much in lane, and also the Vladimir in lane as well. So they really wanted the Ezreal matchup, is what I'm guessing. Like they definitely had a good feel of what Jinja would pick when bans were thrown at him.
Eliminating his mages, the Morgana of Vladimir after Swain had already been banned. So it looks like Chocho and the rest of TOP could be crafting themselves a favorable composition against BLG, at least through this laning phase. I mean, you've already seen Lies get 1 kill and 1 assist against Amazing J. Korn, despite the early push pressure of that Talon, seems to be okay catching minions right now. He's clearing wards and is trying to contest the roam of this Talon.
We do see the Smite Talon coming up with the usual Tiamat build, just to help him leave lane as soon as possible. The Assassin's Path is really the thing that you need to watch out for. It does have 800 range over wall, so you're trying to get to the bot lane as soon as possible. That lane is probably going to be the most pushed lane coming out from TOP's side, and you want to punish that.
So far, that's exactly what we're seeing. Chocho pushes back up, but Mole is on his Raptor camp as the wave bounces back into the mid lane. Now, Korn does not have a lot of mana right now, whereas Mole is still pretty topped up as Korn actually steps up and lands the stun. Decides not to use Vanguard's Edge, just chunking Mole down and keeping track as he decides to auto that final cannon. And it's not the bottom lane. Look at how safe Chocho and Cat are playing. They push up the wave, they get it to the turret. The moment the mid wave is cleared out and Mole has the freedom to roam, they just back away. Yeah,
they're definitely afraid of the Talon coming into their lane. Talon is one of those champions that it's very hard for teams to estimate when he will arrive at the fight if you're not used to playing against him. I actually think that's the main reason he's banned away. It's not that his gimmicks are especially powerful, it's just very hard to play against if you're not used to how fast he can roam.
Quite quickly. Look at how fast he takes those Raptor camps as well. He's even with Korn right now, still sitting on the same amount of mana as he was. Amazing J tries to trade back against Lies, but already you can see the trouble he's having in that top lane against this Kled. And still,
I would actually say he's doing pretty fine here. It's actually a bit difficult for the Kled to do anything against Mundo post 6. So even though he's behind a kill and an assist, I actually call that even for him.
Uh-oh. XX steps up onto the ward. They've even brought Lies down from the top lane to secure this Scuttle Crab. And still, nice, slow, early game. Not exactly what TOP was looking for after they picked up their first 2 kills.
Yep.
Perhaps they'll get the chance to accelerate it.
What's really happened so far this game is that I feel like the Aurelia and Gragas combination has not been working out for them. They found really no chances to secure kills on the Talon, and if you look at what Chieftain is doing, he's keeping very close tabs on both sides of the jungle. Like, there is no avenue where XX can instantly find a pick onto Mole.
Oh! Smite! XX panics and takes the blue buff.
He had to do it.
As True Shot Barrage from downtown, Jin Zhao fires across.
Oh yeah, the old Ezreals love to do that. I remember Wei Xiao doing that so far back.
Oh yeah.
Taking every buff away from the enemy team and forcing smites.
Just delaying the threat of that mid lane as much as he can. And Road dashes back into that bottom lane. Jin Zhao sitting on a Sheen and a Tyr. He's happy to just farm these minions up against that Varus. Like you said, push pressure is going to the Varus though, as he is now 14 CS ahead, about 2 minion waves up over Jin Zhao.
I would say TOP actually are the ones that need to speed up their composition. They really don't want to see a the Ezreal go into the late game uncontested. They're doing very good work onto that bot lane tower. So that will probably be the next objective for them to take. I don't think Kled's going to be able to do much in the top lane, so he should be using that roam advantage to probably take Herald or look for something to do bot.
I mean, he's still got that teleport. If he's able to find a good ward behind BLG, it's an easy charge to catch up to Ezreal no matter how hard he tries to arcane shift out of there. And now that we're starting to see the push go back in favor of Corn, we're starting to see XX follow that a little bit more by placing some wards on this bottom half of the map. True Shot Barrage clears out the minion wave though. And still, the tier 1 is held onto by BLG.
Ooh,
pings down to the bottom side though, in between the waves. This could be the opportunity as they push forward. Even the Mia pings out of BLG.
Yeah, but for how long is really the question here. BLG know that they can't hold on to the pressure anymore in the bot side. The entire map is funneling downwards with Aurelia and Gragas giving up farm to reach it.
Oh, and the stun landing on the mole. That's the
3v2
Vanguard's edge. He walks out, but XX with the cask forces a disengage. And just like that, 2 ultimates burned, but no summoners. Sorry, 3 ultimates.
Yep, just wanted to make sure that Ro wasn't going to get a bone skewer onto his mid laner. Bit of a safety ultimate there.
Chieftain now set to fight XX, and the flash over the wall. Impale pulls him in. They found him at the scuttle. Stopwatch stalls this out. Does Lies try to save him even over the wall? As Road even gets tagged in on that kill. Lies eats a bone skewer as he makes his way back into the top lane, but that's BLG getting on the scoreboard.
Yeah, unfortunate positioning out there from XX. Already used the bone casket in the mid lane. Was getting caught out on the rare instant that Amazing J actually had lane priority.
Not very often, but every once in a while that Mundo finds a window, and we're still at just about dead even gold, despite it being 2 kills to 1, despite even TOP taking that bottom tier 1 turret. Nice, calm game.
Yeah, the question right now is really where can the bot lane go? Because I don't think Corn is really strong enough against Mole at this point to handle the side lane by himself, and that's the reason we don't see the Varus being moved into the mid lane. It's not because the bot lane isn't strong, it's pretty much the mid lane doesn't really have anywhere to farm.
While Corn has to sit here against that Talon, that means that the Varus has to stay down there. That does mean Dragon could be started out by TOP because they do have the numbers advantage on the bottom half of the map. They start things off, and now there are pings onto the Rift Herald. As look at that, Lies is recalling, recognizing so many people are missing. XX is over the wall, and Cat is just standing there. Chieftain's on the other side. They have to back out. Oh, sorry. They're on the same team.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay. I was just looking at the top side. Things happen.
Gragas over the wall. I was like, he's stealing it from his own team. Alrighty, never mind.
That was the most excited I've ever heard you cast like the dragon fight. I was like, huh.
He's taking his own dragon. There's no spite. Nobody's going to fight it.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It happens from time to time.
Yeah.
You're just aching for action.
I am. And there's really nothing going on. We're 13 minutes into the game, and there are 3 kills, Clement. This is the LPL, not the LCK. If you want the LCK, go watch Griffin versus Genji. But do it after this game. Or like 2 tabs.
Yeah, that's the minimum acceptable answer.
Yes.
Double tabs. If you can't do it, you should upgrade your internet.
Multi-stream, that's the answer. But still, it's really slow. I mean, BLG, they're 1-5 right now. They are trying to find momentum, and it seems like in the previous game, by going back to stability with the hypercarry Gangplank in the late game, they were able to find some stride out of Amazing J. But TOP in this game, too, immediately turn and shut him down. They find 2 kills and try to halt that Amazing J momentum because he is so important for this team.
Yeah, he is, but at the same time, I think he's weathered the storm fairly fine. He's even up in CS over the Kled. So, you know, you give up your kills, but it doesn't really affect the matchup as much as people really assume.
Ooh, Corn sidesteps into the Bone Skewer, flashes back. They're now assassinating him. Vanguard's Edge does nothing when you are already dead. As BLG now find another kill.
Yeah, I wonder if Aurelia used the E to wave clear, because there was no stun attempted right there.
As a matter of fact, Corn did.
Oops.
Yes. Bit of a tragedy, but That's not going to give too much just yet for TOP. Teleport is ready for Lies, and it looks like Mole is trying to split push and take that top tier 1.
This is really dangerous for the Clutch.
Amazing J.
He's got company, though.
He's going to be pulled back in. Cat pulls Chocho. Flash, and that is a late corrupting chains, but still, Amazing J is able to escape with his life. A tier 1 trade for potentially a tier 2. Road is there over the wall. Finally, the tier 1 goes down for BLG, but look at that. Rift Herald is being taken by Chieftain on that far side. Charge utilized, and the minion wave is set to be cleared out. That's the charge. As Lies goes in, dives onto Road. He turns over to Amazing J. He goes golden. Teleport is going to get Jin Zhao in there, the AD carry, as Road is trying to either get away or get closer to Lies.
Goes out of the flash.
Boneskewer pulls him back in. The Kled goes down and goes low over the wall. Amazing J with the briefcase.
Oh, misses,
but Jin Zhao has got the arcane shift, locks it down, as that's 1 turret and 2 kills for BLG.
Yeah, and TOP try to go for the all-in, try to equalize the Herald play being made on the top side, and unfortunately get punished for it by Jin Zhao. And this was the problem I was talking about on their lane assignments for TOP. Aurelia has nowhere to go. She can't really solo lane against Amazing J. She can't really do it against Mole either. And you can see that it just bogged down the entire rotations from TOP. They had their bot lane, they had their ADC in the mid, but the side lanes were so easy to attack. And it just led to like this chain of events that favors BLG in the end.
They're able to pull TOP under the tier 2 turret long enough to separate Lies and chase him down for a kill, but still, that Mountain Dragon did go to TOP. They do have 1 kill on the board, even if it is about a 1,500 gold advantage for BLG. We've got to take a look at the items and how that breaks down, because Korn has finished off his Triforce. We've got the Titanic Hydra on that Kled. He's building towards a Black Cleaver, and Blade of the Ruined King is ready for Chocho. It might not be a favorable fight, but it looks like they could be ready to take one, though. That being said, Cat is the target. All he's got is that Eye of the Mountain, and he's able to walk away with a flash.
I just want to note here that the Talon CS can be very, very misleading, because he's been taking a lot of camps, and those give more gold than a full minion wave.
And now BLG follow the momentum of getting those 2 summoner spells. They get another Bone Skewer. Piercing Arrow is ready, gets good damage onto Jin Zhao, and a stun finds Amazing J, but a second charge allows Shelly to get damage, and they manage to catch up to XX, Vanguard's Edge, but it's going the wrong way. Mole looks for the assassination, tries to dive in, but Korn goes in late, stun into the back line, a deep teleport as Lies joins in. Mole over the wall. Who's the target? Amazing J tanks it as they flash to safety, and Amazing J will give his life so that his team can escape. But that is very much worth as they take down the mid-tier 1.
Yep, only getting 2 kills back in return for TOP, and just looking at where the kill distribution went, unfortunately they didn't get to snowball the Aurelia as hard as they possibly could. Able to stop the siege, however, coming out from BLG.
And that will, at the very least, halt the momentum of BLG. It's 60 seconds about until that Dragon. Down to 45 now, as Baron will be spawning in 2 minutes as well, so while this mid-game is being stalled a little bit more by TOP, we're starting to see what that BLG composition can do. The Bone Skewer to pull someone out of position, the Impale to lock them down as Cask tries to hit Shelly, but when she's charging, nothing you can do can stop her.
Yep, and this is really Korn doing work onto the back line. Talon goes in, but gets most of his damage onto Cat. Jin Zhao falls almost immediately right there. Oh, yeah, it does tag him with the, I believe, the Ignite in the end. Amazing J putting up the sacrifice, walking forward so the Kled would run into him instead of onto Chieftain.
Yeah.
If the lockdown went out to Chieftain, that would be that would follow him through.
Bye-bye, Korn. He's in a really tough spot here. He's being turned into corn on the cob. That's Vanguard's Edge as Mole goes low, and the quick assassination. Chains of Corruption as that's a cast, pinning Chieftain to the wall. He is low, and that's a damage reset, though, as Teleport gets Amazing JN. Not sure he wants to be, as he's in the front. Lies is real big. Who's he going to go for? Doesn't have the charge just yet, but he's about to. If they stay long enough, TOP could try to turn this fight. There's no turret to run to. Lies goes in. He doesn't have his team behind him yet.
The ult is almost done for Kled here. That's what they're waiting for. If they stick along too long, I actually think the charge could finish this.
Mystic shot, gets some damage. The minion wave is cleared out, and Mole is running towards the mid lane. TOP decide not to follow up, but there it goes. That's the one. Road and Amazing J. He tags onto Amazing J. Road over the wall. Lies with the follow. Gets stunned. Amazing J against 3. Can he get the auto? No, the flash. Lies catches
up. Road.
He drops off. Jin Zhao trading back, but he's about to get Scarl.
Remounted.
And he does, in fact, get remounted. Now, Amazing J has died in the bottom lane, and Lies, 2, 1, and 3, calls the fight for his team, and it pays off.
Yeah, it's so difficult to remember when that cooldown actually finishes right there. So BLG, once Talon showed mid, they actually put themselves in a bad position to trade back another 2 kills.
Now there are the recall things as BLG have to secure their blue buff, but this is looking scarier and scarier as that Aurelia's getting big, and that Kled, he's about to have that black cleaver.
Ooh, I like this fight so far. I mean, this game is really spicing up. We had a very slow early game, 3 kills, 13 minutes in, but everything since then has been heating up gradually. They're both playing these 5v5 group up and try to pick compositions. So far, I think BLG still will have the late game edge. They will have 2 beefcakes in Amazing J and Chieftain to hold the charge down. But at this phase, with Kled sitting at 2 items, it's basically his playground. TOP should try to fight as often as possible.
Well, they've nearly got that charge ultimate back up again if they want to look for another fight as BLG take themselves a Cloud Dragon. Poor second to that mountain, but it could provide some opportunities for Mole to roam around if he were so inclined to look for the split push a little bit later. He's already on that bottom tier 1 turret. It's TOP, they're grouped up in that mid lane to try and push back, but he decides to back away and swap places with Lies.
Yep, someone does need to deal with this minion wave, and I think he's a much better candidate than Aurelia at this point. Corn we've shown multiple times, even if he's not going to get soloed, Aurelia just does not have the mobility to escape anything. At least if you're the Kled, you can charge away. So I do like the lane assignments here. They are going to give up a little bit of the map, but it doesn't matter. They still have a bit of time to make this Kled work.
I mean, that does also slow down the Aurelia a little bit, so that could be a bit of a pittance for BLG. But that said, there's already a 2-item Gwinsu's Blade of the Ruined King Varus breaking down that tier 1 turret. Bone Skewer misses Chains of Corruption, but a Kaskin, just like that. Road gets sent back home. That's the charge. Jin Zhao flashes to escape it. But here comes that next minion wave. They're not even waiting for the minions as the tier 2 is broken down, and Amazing J is trying to walk in from behind. Remember, there is no charge. So this is just a standard person back. A quick assassination. Mole finds Cat and puts him down, but quickly fires across. True Shot Barrage clears out the wave. That's the Predator. Chieftain is thinking about the Impale.
Let's get the slow.
Yeah, hits that Shatter onto Corn, but decides not to follow it. As Corn is getting chipped down quite low. He's down to 1,000 health now. And still he's another briefcase. Mole is coming in from the side. Doesn't land the rake as Chocho flashes back. BLG still chasing this down. They decide to go at Vanguard's edge, but it's DOP who find the fight. Mole leaps in, but he gets disarmed. Has to leap away. Corn goes low.
So much damage.
Flashes out and dies. Look at the damage being traded back. XX finds himself a double. Finally, you've got Road getting back in. He's got one. Does he have to reset, though? Misses the Bone Skewer. Lies gets remounted. Mole over the wall, and BLG are forced to scatter.
And that's just what Chocho can do to you when he's sitting on those 2 item spikes right there. The Vanguard's edge stopping BLG from doing any damage for around 2 seconds.
And look at that,
and then turning around the fight.
He's forced to run away. And luckily that Assassin's Path, as you mentioned, gets him so mobile, the freedom to hop around and escape that. But still a very risky situation. And now TOP, they've proven that they can win these fights front to back and back to front.
Yeah, it really is about the power spikes for TOP so far. Sitting on Gwinsu's and Blade of the Ruined King and the Black Cleaver and Titanic Hydra coming out from the Kled is the best possible position that these players want to be in. So they're looking for like 23 to 30 minutes. I would give it to TOP, but any later than that, I actually think BLGs do start coming up with the advantages. It's really about how much gold lead you can push in this section.
It's 2,000, 2.5 right now. Stun is prepped. Mole sidesteps again, but he's got regeneration, and again, is just able to duck away from the Aurelia and XX. I like how they even brought XX, just in case Mole were going to look for a fight.
Yeah, I actually wonder if, I think Corn probably could have played that better. He could have taken away the Moby boots from the Talon and try to land his, land the E a little better.
Blade Surge first and then try to land the stun.
Yeah, he probably could have done that.
It's a bit risky, but perhaps it could have paid off with a kill. That said, that would show a lot of people on the bottom side, and perhaps open an opportunity for BLG to look at that Baron on the far side, because now we see the double tier out of Jin Zhao. The second one is stacking up. He's got his Trinity Force, finished off the Muramana. He's going to start doing some damage, but question is, can he match that Varus, especially what looks to be AD Varus, who's now building off that crit item?
Not now, of course. I think it's a good chance for the Varus to actually go into the, what is it called? Runan's Hurricane build right here. We do have a lot of melee champions, 4 melee champions on BLG's side, so you're going to be doing a lot of extra damage.
That's exactly what we see as Amazing J forced to use the sadism early. Sidesteps the bear trap on a rope, but you can see how volatile this matchup is. Missing the briefcases means you can't trade back. Meanwhile, that was Road and Jin Zhao on the bottom side. I don't think they've been spotted by wards yet, but if they knew, TOP would be all over that Baron like white on rice.
Yep. A bit weird from Lies to go in on that. I don't think he can actually take on Amazing J anytime soon. It was more about the pressure and just trying to get a flash out of him. He was trying to basically threaten that a jungler or someone else was nearby.
Instead, it doesn't yield anything. You can start to see how much damage that Varus is going to do.
I love Varus as a pick.
Oh, yeah.
Gives you early tempos. Not that great in terms of team fights, but
it's so risky as well into this Talon. If he ever gets caught out, if that Tahm Kench ever gets too far away from the Varus, it's going to be real scary. But if it pays off, just think of the damage.
Yeah.
Think of the damage numbers.
The damage will be quite insane, especially this percent health damage against the Cinder Hulk and also the Mundo. I really like the Varus pick so far. We've been seeing it only in the LCK to start off, but teams have begun to warm up to the pick. You have your Grievous Wounds on the W, I believe. The
Hail of Arrows?
Yeah, the Hail of Arrows. Probably the E, actually. Yeah, it's probably E. I don't really play the champion that much, but...
It is the E. You're correct.
Yeah.
All right, Abyssal Voyage to get into the back. It's only Cat. Jin Zhao just Arcane shifts away as Road goes the other direction. Nobody took that as Lies. I think he might have been just outside of vision range of Road there. Elsewise, he might have tried to go in. But Dragon has spawned, and BLG will take it quite happily.
TOP will take it.
That's the one.
Yep. BLG, you know, they're still trying to avoid.
Me in this Dragon Pit right now. I see the Gragas and I'm like, ah, great, it's BLG. No, it's not. It's TOP. It's XX. Get it together, Dom.
Definitely happens every now and then.
Yeah.
Like, when people aren't fighting, when BLG is just like, no, we're going to avoid everything and just play side lanes for 5 minutes.
I mean, that's what you mentioned, right? Is that TOP have got the power spike. How much gold can they get over BLG until about the 30-minute mark? Right now, BLG seem to have successfully stalled it out. They've avoided the Abyssal Voyage, which has been the only play we've seen TOP try to make. We do have a tactical pause.
No pauses are tactical in League of Legends. They're usually all technical pauses, but...
Yeah.
Yep. Nothing much really happening for the past 3 minutes right there. BLG just kindly waiting it out.
Nice and slow, yeah.
Yep. And I think they do have the side lanes to do so. If they want to go into 1-3-1, 3 items in, I think they can easily stretch the game out. So TOP, they are looking a bit stressed underneath the pressure so far.
That said, they do have the advantage in this game. They've got the gold lead, they've got the Varus tempo, Aurelia starting to catch up, and they've got that Kled in the top lane. So despite looking stressed, I feel like they shouldn't be quite as stressed as they are, though they are on match point in this best of 3.
Yeah, as weird as it sounds, I actually think they're probably going to set up for a Baron play and then just have Kled try to come in on the enemy backline. I think that's probably the best play for them. The current way things are going, they're just not going to get BLG to commit to anything unless they force Baron. So that would be my game plan. Set up for Baron, wait for the 5-man to come in, have BLG expose their own backline and just rush in.
I mean, that always is the BLG Hail Mary. Wait till 35, 40, 45 minutes and try to take a miracle team fight. As if it's a coin toss, it's 50-50 for you, but it's also 50-50 for the enemy team.
That sounds like a horrible plan, to be honest. Like, I came from League of Legends coaching, and never in my life have I thought, yeah, I want a coin flip.
Well, that's been the BLG mentality, right? If they view themselves to be the weaker team, and right now we know they're 1-5, they know they're 1-5, that has been their go-to strategy. So while it might not be ideal, if that's what gets you wins, if that's what gets you on the board, Clement.
All I'm going to say is that it has not worked for them, but this is exactly what I predicted. TOP going to bait Baron first, and then they have Kled to force a backline engage if they do come into this corridor.
Look at that Kled in the mid lane. Chieftain's over the wall. He's waiting for that plant. Lai steps up, but a stun onto 2. That's the charge onto Only Road. He flashes back. They reset it. Amazing J in the front. Mole goes in. Who's Mole going for? He's getting damage onto Chocho. He flashes back. Is not able to find the assassination as he ends up going low, and that's TOP cleaning up the fight as Jin Zhao forced to leap away. And Mole forced to hop back, but 5 members still alive for TOP.
Yeah, I originally was not very high on TOP's initiation chance right there into the corridor and having their Varus stand right next to a Talon, but good play coming out from Corn. The Vanguard's edge hit absolutely everyone. Could he steal it? No.
True shot barrage, not enough, and then the late Mystic shot. Baron picked up by TOP. Mole is at the red buff. But finally, the top tier 1 will be taken down by TOP, and they can start to break away the rest of the base for BLG with this upcoming siege.
Yeah, I think BLG, you know, if they just played it a little bit more patient, waited until the teleport actually finished, they could have just backed off right here, wait for the teleport. But unfortunately, just stuck here. Mole on the wrong side. Doesn't really find Chocho either. Good exhaust coming out from Cat.
Denying that Talon damage and then just running down that final kill. It must be mentioned, Corrin and XX going onto the stacked members of BLG were able to get a lot of damage out and find the first few kills that enabled the back half of that fight to happen, as Corrin is pretty big on that Aurelia now. 2 items, building that BF sword in case he wants a GA.
Yep. Can I just gloat at how accurate I was on predicting TOP's play right there?
Setting up for a Baron.
Exactly what I told them.
I mean, they didn't Kled charge into the back line. He Kled charged front to back.
Come on, that was the same idea. He was walking in onto Road and Jin Zhao. That was exactly what I told him.
Technically counts.
Like, decided what they were going to do. That being said, TOP's first instinct is usually to rush Baron. So, you know, it might not all be me. It might just be force of habit. But it was a good play, and I think it was the best play.
Yeah, an appropriate assumption, I think, to make at this point is now we're starting to see that siege onto the top tier 2 and the middle inhibitor. And while they might not have a spectacular siege, only that Varus and the Gragas to really start chipping away at the turrets, they've got the charge. They've got the cask. They've got the dive.
They do have the range advantage at this point. Varus can walk up, and with Gragas, it should be fairly safe.
Oh, 2 members top. Force Lies to walk back, but that means the inhib goes down. Stun is prepped and misses, but the inhib is broken. Bone Skewer between the minions, and TOP take it and back up.
Yep. BLG did try to go for a risky 2v1 into the top lane, but you're never going to catch a Kled. Like, it's really impossible when he has charge up.
It's so tough. True shot barrage onto the minion wave as Cat flashes back. That's the cask. Amazing J is the target. He's a Mundo. He's not supposed to die that fast.
Yeah, he did have a chance to press sadism. He was actually just dead in midair.
CC locked the entire duration. That means things are going right.
I know, that was just such a weird chain of events to watch Cat walk through the enemy base, flash out.
Oh, and the chains of corruption. They've caught another kill, and they have found it. TOP turn onto the inhibitor, and they break it down. It's down to the Nexus now. Midwave has been cleared out by Mole. But still, they've got Baron for 45 seconds. Road is forced to dash back. Mole is behind them. He's looking for somebody, but he's losing his base in the meanwhile. Who's his target? He dodges around. Decides to go on to XX, but Cat just denies him. Meanwhile, Road backing away. Jin Zhao simply does not have the damage. The Nexus goes low, and TOP even up the series.
Great play by TOP at the end there. I think their finish was the strongest we've seen from this young team so far. You know, we've always harped on them as probably not having the talent, not having the experience to really punch above 5th place in the LPL. But this split, like, this is a new TOP. Like, the Western Conference is better you know, you better wake up and you better recognize who these players are, because they're coming for playoffs.
Yeah, they're certainly trying, as now they're 1 game away from getting more series wins in 4 weeks than the entire spring split in total. This is a team that seems to have finally found their momentum, and look at the damage of that Varus.
Oh, yeah.
About as expected.
We're going to be seeing a lot more Varuses. He counters the mages, is great when you have tempo play. And if you build him this way, he does a lot of damage against full melee compositions as well. I just love how TOP was recognizing their win conditions and knew that they couldn't contest a 1-3-1. Instantly went for the Baron play and had Kled finish off that entire play.
Did you pause the game, Clement? Was that you pausing the game and then saying, I think the next play they're going to do.
Well, I did enjoy the pause. It did give me a very good time to actually talk about what they were going to do.
Yeah. But again, you just mentioned they just had to play through that 23-minute power window to that Baron and take as much as an advantage that they could, which they very clearly did with that team fight and then the Baron after.
Yeah, again, like, props on TOP, but I still have to harp on that Skarner.
Yeah.
What is going on with all these cruciations?
Yeah.
Like, Chieftain, if you want to play a strong jungle mid, Skarner is not a good option. He doesn't do anything pre-6, and he has a ton of counters.
Well, hey, maybe he'll take a
pick
look.
Something else.
Well, we call it a champion pool. Maybe he's just looking for small crabs to pick out of that pool. Anyways, it's time for our analyst to break down that game.
Pick out the crabs. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's Kitty. I don't know, man. But you know what? Let's pretend it never happened and talk about the game.
Yes, so in this match, Rusty, TOP were able to tie up against BLG. It's now 1-on-1 in this best-of-3 series.
Yeah, and this game was a lot better from TOP, and I think that's a pretty positive thing that you can take from this. I thought there were still good things in game 1. We said that as well together, but in the second game, they were able to get a victory from it. And Kled's definitely a big thing that we have to highlight. Of course, the draft from them was overall a lot better. The Lucian was a Varus Tahm Kench. They control the lane. That's already a good step in the right direction for them. Top lane had control, got a solo kill basically as well against the Mundo. Was a big deal from Lies, who stakes his claim as to why he's a very good top laner and should be there over someone like Marin. So there was a lot of extra things from the draft and from the play that looked a lot better.
And they started off game 2 the way they started off game 1 as well. They were still able to be aggressive nice and early. You already mentioned the solo kill top side of the map. And that seemed to be where most of the focus was very early into the game, trying to lock down Amazing J. I believe he had about 7 deaths at the end there. We saw Kled being played in top lane like you were talking about. We've seen it being played more in the mid lane recently thanks to Doinby over Riftfire, since then lots of different mid laners been trying to pick up the champion. But he was up against a talent. This is a champion we said at the start of the day was showcased by the LMS squad at Rift Rivals with Smite in the mid lane trying to counter out funnel strategies, but it was used here today by BLG.
And the LMS and the LPL all play in Korean solo queue, so I'm sure they're all very familiar with this strategy that we are seeing a lot of running rampant through solo queue, and that is the Smite talent in the middle lane. Of course, Mole can play the champion. The thing that I liked the most about this pick, firstly, Clement mentioned that jungle camps are worth more gold, so the CS values very deceptive. If you're at the same farm as someone else, you actually have got more gold, so that's always something to consider. Getting item spikes as a talent is a very big deal. And the thing that never gets mentioned, that I had to play a lot of and feed a lot to actually understand this, because I had to learn it, is when you're playing Smite Talon mid lane, you pretty much always have mana. You never run out of mana. Your opponent runs out of mana because they're dealing with your wave clear, and we saw that a lot during this early laning phase, whereas the Talon, because you've got a jungle item, just wander into the jungle, regenerate all of it back whenever a wave's gone. So a lot of extra mana regeneration comes in very handy.
That's something that used to cripple Talon in his laning phase, that he didn't have enough mana to sustain through and use the rake to actually clear out the minions. So it works out well for him in the mid lane. I know that you're a big fan of Pyke as well. Really wanted to talk about this Talon Pyke combo. That's something BLG used, but not successfully in this match.
Yeah, there was 1 or 2 times where it definitely worked. Getting kills in the top lane onto the Aurelia is the one that comes to mind, I think it was. But the thing that I like about this duo is that Talon always wants to roam, always wants to leave lane. Pyke is melee Bard. Think of him in the same respect. Both Bard and Pyke, they just want to leave lane. They want to find targets to pick off, maybe deal some damage and, find those kills. Put a Talon and a Pyke together, unlock them through the river together, and they're just going to have the best time. They're just going to go everywhere and kill everything. And you saw at times BLG were able to do that. But that's where I think TOP were able to answer it decently well. Their vision control, Cat in particular, was playing out of his mind.
Yeah, and TOP able to, acquire the vision they needed. They played very aggressive early into the match as well, which set them up for the late game fights. Now, they weren't able to secure a lot of these fights quite cleanly. BLG still held on, but in the final fight that propelled them 10,000 gold ahead, it was around Baron. They caught out to BLG in a choke point. It was a one-sided affair when they started the fight as well.
Most of these fights are Kled. You'll see the charge kicks it all off, but what you don't see is what the Aurelia is doing. So hits the stun, ults them all. It's not the first time you've seen it. It wouldn't be the last time in this game. Korn was actually the unsung hero of this team, whilst Kled is loudly screaming charge in the front lines trying to distract you all. And I think Korn actually, you know, I discredited him in the first game for making some mistakes, and I think that's still very much valid from that first game. But in team fights, looked very solid. In laning phase without junglers, does also look very solid, and I think has improved.
Yeah, that looked good in that second match against BLG. I mean, up against the Talon Smite as well. Wasn't an easy task for him to deal with, but was able to do so successfully.
Yep.
And their composition just worked so well around that choke point as well. Even adding in Varus as the AD carry of choice, got buffed up with the hotfix that was applied to a few of the AD carries in this patch too, showcasing how strong it is and how much utility they can provide to layer on top the CC that Aurelia was able to provide in that final fight.
Yeah, certainly. The Varus was a very big deal, and he was 5-0-5, I think, before that fight even started that you just saw. So had a very good showing for himself, and I bring this all back to Cat again. I think that the Varus played very well. I think most of the individuals played decent from the side of TOP, but Cat was the one that hit the exhaust that saved the Varus. Cat was the one that devoured the AD carry to save him and continued to do this through a lot of the game and was proactive, but was doing so at the correct moments and looked outstanding.
I mean, it allowed Chocho to help Chocho pick up MVP on his Varus performance here. Did a ton of damage for the squad. We already talked about him. 7-0-5, having a ton of crowd control to lay on top that CC. TOP able to tie this match against BLG. And although BLG looks strong to start this best-of-3 series, starting to show signs of weakness once again, as they have been throughout the early half of the split.
I think TOP are starting to warm up in this particular set, so Game 3 may even go their direction. And a lot of this for me was the bottom lane 2v2. You can talk towards MVPs in both respective games for certain, but in this one, having bottom lane control in the early game just did so much for them and unlocked the map for TOP.
Which means that this match is now tied and going to Game 3. However, we will not be broadcasting the third match. If you want to watch the third game between TOP as well as BLG, go to panda.tv/LPU or douyu.com/LPL, where you can find all the action covered by the lovely gentleman behind us in the Chinese broadcast. We are going to skip all the way over to Beijing to catch the next match of the day. So don't go anywhere. It's coming up soon.
让我们把故事传唱下去，继续书写 RNG 的传说。